Hello, everyone. Uh, how are we all doing? I hope these videos that I've been posting have been of some help, and hope everyone is safe during these times. And I'm going to be telling a little bit about the situation as it currently is. I'm blogging about it as well, but I thought I would do a video documentation of this as well. That we're ending a cycle and beginning a new. Everything goes in with ebb and flow, but very much often we don't realize that, and we have no control whatsoever, really, about how things go. We think we have a lot, but a lot of things in life are just really beyond your comprehension sometimes, and believe me, I was fighting tooth and nail to it for the longest time, thinking that things have to be a certain way or things have to happen a certain way, and definitely took a very heavy toll for the longest time. But we're back now, and we're back stronger than ever. And but I do have to get out of where I'm at, because this is pretty much not sustainable for a very long time. So having said that, I'm going to make this as short or sweet as I possibly can, but this has to be done for the future, because the future is bright, and Mother Earth and the universe and the one we call our Father. We have many names in society for we like to call him, but I'm not so sure about that after my own experiences. The world we live in is just filled with wonders we have not even begun to explore. I can tell you, after my trips and after my experiences in the physical and the spiritual realm, I can tell you there is nothing more satisfying than figuring out what we all can accomplish together, the stories we create, the moments of that will be historic, the world we can co-create together, and not that there will never be war again, or not that we'll never have adversity again, but we have all the tools to make it as fair for everyone, and have all the unnecessary suffering that has been going on for a very long time become very obsolete, to where if these things were to occur, you would have drawn the line between good and evil, because the concept of evil has now become so blurry that anyone who doesn't conform to the smallest detail of our ideology is considered an enemy. And I have been in that trap very recently myself, and recognizing the truth of that situation as to how I was thinking about European descendant people, and that thought often or not still comes back to mind, but realizing also that is part of the trap, that is part of the test the universe throws at you for a very long period of time, to keep sure you keep yourself sharp, you keep yourself in check. Because in the Bible, especially New Testament, we are believed to man to be born of sin, but to be fundamentally good. And in American Indian history, it is said that man is fundamentally evil, and the constant challenge to keep the equilibrium, the balance between good and evil in check, whether talk about the good wolf and the bad wolf, and which one they're feeding the most, which one you're feeding the most, is exactly that. They were very aware that your thoughts create the reality, and the thoughts you feed your mind with is the one that will ultimately be flourishing. And if you go against the universal purpose, which has been created, I'm getting an applause, which has been created, it is very likely you will create a destructive path formed upon you. And that is something you want to avoid. Trust me, at all costs. I got a scar on my lip for that particular reason. But in order to get to that, it requires self-knowledge. I can give you a unlimited amount of tools, but I can sit here and talk with people for hours. Who knows? I'll go live when I get there and have the ability to help people with some live questions. But as an example, to say that I can do that particular thing for hours, but the real joy about that is the self-discovery of it. And that doesn't mean you're gonna run into some shit, because trust me, I've run into some very dark shit in this path that I've been on, in this journey I've been on, and it took until recently to find that light and to be able to find the way up and forward with the guidance of the universe and Father Gala and Mother Earth. My sisters, my brother, they're always watching. They're the sisters of the cosmos and the forgotten brother that we all carry a part of the story. And these stories that are told are infinite, but we are all here to tell to tell a particular part about that story. When I say that looking inside, you will find more treasure that can ever be obtained in the material world, that is absolutely no joke. There are so many stories. Some will probably take me forever at this point to figure out, and luckily I do have forever. Yeah, but for those out there who feel like your time on this earth is limited, I can pretty much tell you this is you will find it at the right time, at the right place. And the hunger for knowledge, I said it in one of my lyrical videos, where the hunger for knowledge becomes so intense it feels like a thirst. When people will tell me what's worse, to be hungry or to be thirsty, I can personally tell you, after walking to the Canarian desert area for a very long time, I can tell you thirsty is about the worst. So, and for a lot of horny people, it says thirsty is a new word for that as well. So, yeah. To be honest, which one of the three, I don't know which one would be worse. All three together would be a fucking nightmare. See, this is why my channel is not always for kids. That's why I put that content up, so that YouTube doesn't put a lawsuit on me or remove any of my videos, which I've worked so hard for. But talking about the esoteric, it is an area where very little people tend to want to dive into, because they feel it is demonic. If you get into this practice with demonic intentions, trust me, you're gonna meet your demons. We all have them, regardless. It's as clear as living and dying. All right, you can't accept the best parts of you if you're not able to accept the most horrific parts of you. That is basically how it all goes. And Carl Gustav Jung, I've met him a little bit later in my life, but when I read his take on the dark side of the human psyche, and we talk about reptile people, the reptilians, if you will. Well, that's about the lowest state you can get, and about as close as you can get to a what you would call quote unquote dark side. Why am I coming with this? It is because I have figured out recently that there are many different versions to every single human that is out there. Believe it or not, George Carlin said it very accurately, that you have a human brain, and beneath the human brain you have a mammal brain, and behind the mammal brain you have a reptile brain. And to be driven to the point where you are down to your most lowest of denominators, your lowest form, when it's low, when you just see no other outway. And I have seen some darkness. I have stripped a lot of philosophies down, stemming from the upbringing from childhood, which started off very rough, but having done the necessary work that I have done, and I've put a video out there, or at least partially, about that therapy can help in certain areas. Definitely, I do not condemn nor exclude the fundamental necessity of therapy, but knowing my own personal experiences, I can definitely tell you that therapy has not always been the greatest. At the end of the day, good therapist, bad therapist, right, wrong, doesn't really matter that much, because we all know fundamentally for a fact that as long as you're dealing with people, you're gonna have some friction, either the right way or the wrong way. There's just no other part about it. You might, I forewarn you, you might hear me talk about a lot of stuff that isn't gonna make sense right away, and my neurons are constantly firing with tons of associations and tons of information downloads, and especially during this age of Aquarius that we're in. I think the new moon was in Cancer, I believe. But please do correct me if I'm wrong. The comment section is probably still closed, but I'm going to be opening that up back again soon, because I do not shy away from hate or criticism, but I find it more often that a lot of instances really that the comment section really creates it creates room for discussion, it creates room for exchanging of different perspectives, information, and often or not, and especially in some of the movie trailers, they bring a lot of creative ideas where I'm like, whoa, how one guy was saying a line that a particular character in a movie would need their own spin-off, and I was like, yeah, why hasn't this character gotten his own movie yet? They'd probably kill it, with the right script, or having a couple of musical artists do a battle together, like they've done in the last year during the lockdown, which was an amazing thing. But having said that, let's get back to what we were originally talking about. Is, we're all in the end responsible for our own psyche, our own health, and that part is very much true. But a lot of people don't understand that these particular tools, they're more often than not given in our upbringing, in our childhood upbringing. These are things that you develop, you learn over time, and some people spend their whole lives never learning or go deep to the point where, yeah, there is no other way than to dive and really do that inner work and really dive very deep, especially if you have deep underlining subconscious trauma that is just gonna be staggeringly painful everywhere. And I've had it to the point where, oh, you wouldn't believe how I try to tap out of life. In every way. And yeah, it's there's some more of these stories that I'm gonna get into, but I will tell you that yeah, there is a lot of good as much as there is a lot of dark moments that everyone gets through in one way or another, more or less. But yeah, being where I'm at in life, I never feel alone, or I do feel like there is no one that understands where all this is coming from. Nobody understands me. And to be honest, the way this life has been the last year and a half, oh, sorry, but that's about 4 o'clock in the morning. I have pretty much not slept. I've pretty much not slept all night. And, because, I've got to get these messages out there so that people know that, hey, there is people going through like-minded situations, and, get all of this stuff out there because, there is so much more that we can do. And, a lot of energies, when you're a chosen one, or, you're a new age kid, or you're psychic, they're throwing all these names out there, especially in the woke culture. It is very it's very prevalent that we are all on a journey to betterment, and we haven't always been kind to one another. We haven't always been loved by one another. We haven't always been loving to others. And we are really learning a lot about self-love. And that's something that I'm honestly, like, I'm getting the message that I'm there, but it's like, not that I'm looking for a confirmation per se, but like an inner feeling, like, I feel what is being confirmed, because a lot of times you go through life and you forget to pat yourself on the back. I was talking with another buddy of mine about that a couple of days ago, and it was very exciting to feel that we have a lot of chance to move forward, and forgetting that the journey we've been on to be able to get there, that we really don't pat ourselves on the back enough for the accomplishments that we have made, the struggles we have overcome, the trauma that we have surpassed, and that's something that I am learning to, give myself a pat on the back for that. And everyone goes through, life's not a race. We all get there when we get there, and the giant part about it is to have fun while we're there, you know. And but travel is definitely the solution. Yeah, don't worry, I'm getting some interference here, but yeah, a lot of loud mouths here. But yeah, travel is the absolute way to do it. So we we got there, you know. Traveling, there's many ways to do it. I was talking with an artist not too long ago, actually. You know, he came by here. I'm currently in a homeless shelter, but I always said, you know what, we're homeless, we're not hopeless. So that is a message of positivity that I try to preach on to a lot of people, and really share knowledge and ideas, you know, to help to gain that clarity, to gain that perspective, wherever and whoever it may help, you know, that it may be of service. But having said that, however, there is a very fundamental. Man, how did it get so busy in here? How did it get so? Wow! In one hand, you know, it's just me talking. Now, no, it's a whole party over here. But where was I really? Yeah. We have a lot in our journey to go on, and as much as you can travel physically to many places, you can travel inwardly in many other places. But a lot of people don't like to go there because that would mean peeling down the layers and get to the real fundamentals of what it means to be human. And that concept, believe it or not, is very exciting to some and scary to most. When talk about the difference between what is spirituality and what is religion, well, spirituality is recognizing that there are multiple ways you can view the world in the same time, and there are a lot more people out there who go into spirituality precisely because they can see a problem or a situation from a multitude of different perspectives, often or not the best ones at the same time. And that is a enormous gift to have. I've put on my Instagram and my Facebook page my star maps, and but really what they are, I've told them the outside world are star maps. What they really are spirit maps. And I can show you some here. They kind of look like this. And now these take a time to develop, but I gotta burn some of them in the future. I can tell you almost anything about them, but there are certain parts of the story that I'm simply just not ready to tell yet. Or not to say that I'm not ready to tell them, but that the cosmos is telling me that it's not, that more often or not it's not always the right time to be telling them. But we are heading into a direction right now where you're going to have to go on that journey. You're going to have to go on that journey, because not going on that journey would mean a complete a lack of wanting to move forward. And to move forward is, in the American Indian society and culture, it is a very prevalent essence of what it means to be human. And having said that, however, we all come face to face with the more nastier parts of ourselves at times. So, having been through that particular part multiple times in this life journey, I do sincerely feel and have a bright glimmer of hope that everything is going to be turning out the way it is supposed to go. And healing does not come from anywhere else but within. And especially when you've had a certain amount of events that were not so nice in your life, it's going to get to that point. It's going to get to that point, and you're only ready when the universe tells you you're ready. And that's definitely what I'd like to bring across to everyone who is or will be watching this. Is that there's hope. There's hope, but in hopeless times, more often than not, you've got to find it within yourself. And people say the numbers don't lie. Well, depends on how you intend to use them. You see, everything is with intent. What is your intent behind what you do? And you will find amazing things happen when your heart's in the right place. And a lot of good people get their hearts broken, but a lot of good people come back up and they keep going. They just do it from a better sense of knowledge of who they are in relation to the world that they live in. And that is a grace that is offered very rarely. And I have taken it for granted many times. I'm not going to lie. I preach transparency and honesty, and I'm very protective, but I've never been deceptive. And more often than not, if I ever came across like that, it was either to be protective of my own space, my own mental and spiritual sense, because those all go paired with a code. They all go paired with your morals, your philosophy, your sense of right and wrong. Because the reason for a lot of the problems that are currently existing in the social aspects, whether it be in the 3D realm or the internet, is more than likely because a lot of people were not raised with a particular code of life. I remember last year the whole 6ix9ine getting out of jail for snitching was a lot, but it's like people seem to forget that even as brutal as the mafia was, they had a code. As brutal as the Yakuza are, they have a code. Even the cartels, as bloodily violent as it can get, they have a code. But we're trying to create a world where you want freedom without consequence. And that's the easiest recipe for chaos and disaster. Even with the Dark Knight, which is being mythologized as the greatest movie ever made, for making what I just said to that point very clearly. Because, God rest your soul, Heath Ledger, has been, I think they celebrated recently his 15-year death. 15-year death, they were memorizing that. And freedom without consequence breeds chaos, and if it's not within yourself, it's going to be put on the others. It's like Sadhguru said, it's like Shiva opens his third eye and can either burn the entire existence or see the world clearly. Now, and by that, if you compare that with the Joker, you can either recognize that, hey, I can either burn out all the fundamentals who I am because I'm freedom and I'm not responsible and I should not be responsible. You can get in that level, but trust me, it's gonna breed a lot of havoc around not just yourself but a lot of other people around you as well. And not only that, but freedom without consequence is you're just a big ball of chaos, and I wouldn't say I've had that stage many times growing up, but I've definitely had some thoughts that if I were to look back, which I'm not gonna, but if I were to visually put myself back in that place where I'm thought like, how in the fuck did I ever think this nasty shit? Because I've said earlier, you cannot know the best parts of you unless you know the most horrific parts of you. Like, what corners of your mind are you ready to go into to discover where everything you are and where everything you do comes from? Because once you get onto that particular journey, that is a very scary one, a very exciting one, but ultimately a very enlightening one. Buddha went out to journey to find the meaning of his life, because in the palace, which can actually be a metaphor for the mind, there's only limited reasons I can go within the environment that I'm in. And ultimately, if you want to expand the mind, you travel. If you want to expand the body, you train. But if you want to heighten the frequency of spirit, now, there we're getting into very interesting territory, because the concept of spirit in today's modern Western world is very lost. But people forget, without spirits, you're just incomplete. And you seek all sorts of unnecessary habits or unnecessary possessiveness in order to fill that incompleteness. Because real richness, I can tell you, that's what you find within. Real happiness you create from within. No matter how much gold, no matter how much diamonds, no matter how much sorry. No matter how many symbols of wealth you accumulate, it's nice to have. But what does it ultimately prove about you? And you see, that's where the concept gets lost. Let's say Jesus were to come back. He'd be very disappointed with what he's seeing. He'd be like, if Jesus would come back, he'd be very disappointed. But he'd also be very enlightened, because he was like, hey, I've got more work to do. So that is a concept not lost to many people. But having been in that particular space in life, I can tell you there is hope on the horizon. It's just, are you gonna wait for the sun to come up every day only to go down, or are you just gonna work your way through your own, your inner mess, if you will, your the parts of you that are unable to be accepted, and some people will shut themselves out from the truth from the rest of their life. I know a particular lady who is reaching out right now in the astral, trying to correct the mistake that she made. But it's like, nah, you can block somebody, you can, but that unfinished business will always be in the back of your head, and thinking like, yeah, I should have handled that differently, and I didn't because I was out for my own needs and didn't consider what I was doing to another person, if I were hurting them. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend that, coming from my dark childhood, that I haven't. But a lot of it was also a reflection of what that individual was giving me. When it comes to energy, when it comes to the things they said and how they said it, and finding out later on in life why they said what they said and what intent and what it actually did to an individual like me at the time. It's astounding. I wonder too how much more I'll be able to share with the rest of the world. Because really you ignite the own fire within you. And when it comes to the concept of spirit also, it's like people make it as if that is not scientific. No, esoterical is not scientific. Like, really, you've got all these nerve endings and you've got all these neurons firing. What do you think that is? You think that's just fire inside you? What do you think that is, really? Well, it's very simple. That's your spirit being raised or decreased. It's frequency. Everything is vibration. Everything is a friction of elements inside us. And with that being said, that is a part of ourselves that we learn about as we grow, as we evolve. And I've been very glad to be sharing this journey with you all. And you'll be hearing a lot more about my travels. You're going to see me do a lot. You're going to see me create a lot. And I have a lot of people to thank for it. Most of them are right here on this channel. Some of them I met recently. Some of them I've known for years. And we're gonna see where this beautiful life journey takes us. And having said that, everyone, have a very good day, and as always, namaste. Have a good one.